Hello students, welcome to one and all. Myself Dedipya, I am your physical science teacher. Already we started the academic year 2020 and 21. Again after a short break we are continuing this academic year. We started the lesson Matter in Our Surroundings, where you have learnt about what is matter. Matter is nothing but anything or everything which occupies space and has volume is known as matter. And there we have learnt about the states of matter, that is solids, liquids, gases and plasma. We learnt about the different properties of these states of matter. Along with that we have learnt about diffusion and different types of diffusion, that is liquid to liquid diffusion and gas, solid to liquid diffusion, gas to gas diffusion with few activities. At the same time, you have learnt about interconversion of states of matter. Now, with the brief description of interconversion of states of matter, I am going to explain you about what is sublimation, followed by evaporation and applications of evaporation. So here the picture which explain you about interconversion of states of matter. Here you observe the first picture, that is the solid state matter is converting into liquid state on application of heat or by producing the heat. And if you produce a heat and supply the heat continuously, that liquid state matter again converts into the gaseous state. So here what happens when solid state matter, if you supply heat, the heat energy what we are supplying it utilizing to spread the molecules of the solid, and which in turn converting into the liquid state. Same thing happen when you heat the liquid state material, that converts into the gaseous state. Once the substance comes to the gaseous state, on cooling or reducing the temperature, gaseous state substance can converting into liquid. Again further cooling, the liquid can converting into the solid state. The best example for the interconversion of state of matter is of water. Again here if you observe down the second diagram, interconversion of states of matter, if the solid substance is converting into the liquid, this process is known as fusion. If the liquid on cooling converts into solid, that is known as sublimation. And next, if liquid on heating converts into gaseous state, this process is known as vaporization. Gas on cooling converts into liquid, this process is known as condensation. Gas on cooling converts into solid, this process is known as sublimation. Gas on cooling converts into solid, this can also be known as decomposition. Solid direct conversion of gas without converting into liquid state in the middle, that is the process is known as sublimation. These are the different names that allotted for the interconversion of states of matter. Already we learnt the definitions of this all. Yes. Now we will learn about sublimation. What is sublimation? The change of state directly from solid to gas, from gas to solid, is called sublimation. Means once a substance on heating directly converts from solid to gas, on cooling directly converts from gas to solid, this phenomena is known as sublimation. Best examples for the sublimation is camphor. In general, we use camphor while performing puja, karpuram. And what happens when you light this camphor, it produces a flame and directly it get converted into gas. Yes, and in general a substance on heating should convert into liquid, and liquid on further heating converting into gas. But here what happens in the few substances on heating, the solid directly converting into gas, before converting into liquid. So this direct conversion of solid state to gaseous state on application of heat is known as sublimation. And like that, the substance which shows this phenomena is known as sublimates. So here camphor is a sublimate. At the same time, naphthalene balls, that is moth repellents, what we are using under the cloths, is also a sublimate substance. At the same time, odonil, what we are using for freshener, air freshener, that is also a sublimate substance. Here one activity is shown in order to explain the process of sublimation. So here first I will explain what are the required apparatus we want. Those are china dish, and we need to take ammonium chloride. We need to take ammonium chloride and as well as salt. Actually ammonium chloride is a powder in state which just look like a salt. So here we are taking a mixture of ammonium chloride as well as salt, and take the mixture of those two. We can't identify which is ammonium chloride and which is a salt. So here what we are doing in this china dish, take the mixture of ammonium chloride as well as common salt, that is sodium chloride NaCl. Take it in a china dish and keep the china dish on a tripod stand, and take one Bunsen burner in order to heat. At the same time, we need to take one glass conical funnel and some cotton plug. These are the required material that we require to do this activity. And how to set up an activity. First, you put one Bunsen burner. Above that, place one tripod stand, and place this china dish which contains a mixture of ammonium chloride and sodium chloride. Above that china dish, close it with the funnel, and the funnel, the open end, just you cover that with a cotton plug. That is a lump of cotton you take and cover the open end of this funnel. Now just to slowly start heating this, heat this china dish with the help of this Bunsen burner. So this mixture is get heated up and absorbs the heat. Due to the heat, what happens here, ammonium chloride directly converts into gas to converts from solid to gas. This gas, there is no place for escaping this gas, so it deposits settles on the walls of the funnel. There is no place for this gaseous ammonium chloride. So as soon as you are heating, it fumes produces, the gas produces, that gas move towards the walls of this funnel. There is no place for the place to escape, so it hits the walls of the funnel, and due to the lowering temperature, this gaseous ammonium chloride settles like powder on the walls of this funnel. So, and the salt, that is ammonia, that is sodium chloride, on heating it does not converting into solid, does not converting into liquid. That salt remains in the china dish itself, whereas ammonium chloride settles on the walls of the funnel, and at the end you switch off the burner, and if you see white color powder that deposited on the walls of the funnel. So through this activity, what we want to conclude is that there are some substances on heating directly converts from solid to gas. This phenomena is known as sublimation. And next, can matter change its state? Yes, already we till now we learnt under interconversion of states of matter, matter can change its state. Next topic is that effect of change of pressure. Till now we learnt when temperature or heat is supplied, The matter changes from solid to liquid, liquid to gas, again gas to liquid, and liquid to solid. Now, instead of temperature, if we apply pressure, a state can changes from one to other. Yes, by applying pressure, we can convert the state. Actually, what happens when you apply pressure? When you apply pressure, uh, the temperature decreases. The temperature decreases on application of a pressure. So here one picture is showing, by applying pressure, the particle of matter is changing its state. Once you look at the definition given, the difference in various states of matter is due to the difference in distance between the constituent particles. Means if you compare solid and liquid, the particles of solid are very close to each other, whereas the particles of liquid have some gap in between them. Applying pressure and reducing the temperature, any one substance can change its states of matter. So here we have taken one glass cylinder. In this, the glass cylinder is filled with a carbon dioxide, and take one frictionless piston and just try to compress it. Apply the pressure in order to compress the gas. So on applying the pressure, here what happens, the temperature decreases. When temperature decreases, a gas can converting into liquid. But here carbon dioxide is a type of gas. On applying more pressure and reducing its temperature, it directly converting into solid. Yes, this process is known as sublimation, already that we learnt previously. Like that, by reducing the temperature, by applying more pressure, here the gaseous carbon dioxide is completely converting into solid state. The solid state carbon dioxide is known as dry ice. So here you can see this is a picture of a solid carbon dioxide. If the pressure on carbon dioxide gas is increased, it changed to solid state. So at very low temperature and at very high pressures, in general, this solid carbon dioxide is used to create coolness, and solid carbon dioxide is known as dry ice. And next topic is that evaporation. What is evaporation? See here, evaporation is a surface phenomena. Before going to the evaporation, first you should know about vaporization. Already you learnt about vaporization. What is vaporization? On supplying heat at a particular temperature like boiling point, a liquid directly converting into gaseous state, that process is known as vaporization. For example, water converts into water vapor at 100 degree Celsius. Yes, that process is known as vaporization. And what is evaporation? If any liquid state substance converts into gaseous state below its boiling point, that process is known as evaporation. For example, if you spill water on a floor, after some time the water will get evaporated. How water will get evaporated? Is it required 100 degrees Celsius to evaporate into gaseous state? No. In general, water requires 100 degrees Celsius to converting into water vapor, that is vaporization. Evaporation, if a liquid is converting into gaseous state below its boiling point, that phenomena is known as evaporation. Yes, for example, if you observe, the cloths will get dry, the wet cloths will get dry below 100 degrees Celsius. In general, our atmospheric temperature or room temperature is 32 degrees Celsius. Maybe to particular day atmospheric pressure may be 36 degrees Celsius. Even at 36 degrees Celsius, the cloths are getting dry. The water is converting into water vapor. So Here the water is converting into the water vapor below its boiling point. This phenomena is known as evaporation, and this is difference between vaporization and evaporation. And next, what are the factors affecting evaporation? There are 4 factors that affecting the evaporation. Those are temperature, surface area, humidity and wind speed. These are the 4 factors that affecting the evaporation. How these affect we will learn. You take first one is temperature. If temperature increases, rate of evaporation increases or not, we will see. Yes, if temperature increases, the rate of evaporation increases. Yes. How? The rate of evaporation of a liquid can be increased by heating it. Hence, evaporation is directly proportional to the temperature of the evaporating surface. So here, if the temperature increases, the water particles or any liquid substance observes the temperature and wants to escape and wants to converting into gaseous state. Like that, if temperature increases, the rate of evaporation is also increases. And second one, if the surface area increases, the rate of evaporation increases. Means you take in a test tube 10 ml of water, and in one china dish also 10 ml of water. If you observe, the surface area of the test tube will be small, the surface area of a china dish will be little larger or little big. So you take 10 ml of water in both the test tube as well as the china dish separately. Keep it in the cupboard and leave it for some time, or leave it for 2 days. If you observe, the water level in a china dish decreases. At the same time, little water level in a test tube also decreases. Here what happens, more water will be evaporated in the china dish and less water will be evaporated in the test tube. In both the test tubes, actually we have taken the same amount of water. Why in a china dish more amount of water is escaped and evaporated? Because in china dish the surface area is larger and more water particles are on the uppermost layer of the surface. So it is in contact with the air, and air takes away the water particles into its in a gaseous state. So more is the surface area, more will be the evaporation. Less is the surface area, less will be the evaporation. And next is that the third factor that affecting the rate of evaporation is humidity. As here, what is humidity? The amount of water vapor that present in air is known as humidity. Now, if humidity is more, rate of evaporation is less. If humidity is less, rate of evaporation is more. Yes. So, if humidity in the atmosphere is more, already atmosphere is filled with the water gas, and there is no space for taking the water vapor from the water. That's the reason, if humidity is more, rate of evaporation is less. If humidity is less, rate of evaporation will be more. This is another factor that affecting the rate of evaporation. And next one, wind speed. If wind speed is more, rate of evaporation will be more. If wind speed is less, rate of evaporation will be less. Yes. So here one example that how if wind speed is more, how rate of evaporation will be more. For example, I want to ask you one question that when clothes will get dry soon, at a sunny day or at windy day. In general, during windy day only the cloth will get dry soon. Why? Because surface area of a cloth is faced to the atmosphere, and as the wind is blowing onto the cloth, is take away the water particles from the cloth and it help it to dry soon. So if wind speed is more, the rate of evaporation will be more. So here just to I am reading this slide, just you see, Evaporation of water from wet clothing is encouraged by warming the sun, blowing air across wind, maximizing the area exposed, that is hanging from a line. Means first it required some heat, that is a warmth from the sun. Second, wind blow to be there, and third one is that the surface area to be exposed in order to get the dry cloths. So again I am recapitulating what are the factors that affecting the evaporation. First, what is the first one? Temperature. If temperature is more, evaporation is more. If temperature is less, rate of evaporation will be less. And second one, surface area. More is the surface area, more will be the evaporation. Less is the surface area, less is the evaporation. And third one is wind speed. More is the wind, more will be the evaporation. Less is the wind, less will be the evaporation. And another factor is that humidity. More is the humidity in the atmosphere, less is the rate of evaporation. Less is the humidity in the atmosphere, more is the rate of evaporation. These are the factors that affecting the rate of evaporation. And next we will learn applications of evaporation. And in general, evaporation shows and gives cooling effect. How? For example, when you apply a perfume or alcohol to your body, we feel cool. Yes or no? So what happens when you apply a perfume to your body? This perfume, which is liquid in state, when it is fall on your body, it absorbs the heat from our body and it evaporates into the air. Yes. Similarly, any alcohol or simply the nail polish remover, just if it is spill on your hand, you feel cool. Why? Because this spirit or alcohol or the nail polish remover, just if it is fall on your skin, it takes the heat from your body and it converts from liquid to gaseous state. Like that, when the body temperature is absorbed by this liquid, so our temperature is losing by taking by this liquids, so we feel cool. Like that, evaporation shows the cooling effect. And next one, water kept in an earthen pot. Yes, during summer season we'll use this earthen pots in order to cool the water. Actually, how the water get cool in this earthen pots? The earthen pots contains pores on them. Pores means small holes. Pores on them. When you pour water in a pot, the water comes out these pores. This water absorbs heat from inside water and it evaporates into the atmosphere. Like that, every time the water comes out through the spores, and this water which is on the surface of the pot absorb heat from the water from the pot and it will get evaporated. So this is a continuous process. Like that, the water get cool in an earthen pot. And next one, there is another question. If you want to sip hot tea, which one will be easier for you, in a cup or in a saucer? When you will drink fast? When you pour hot tea or milk in saucer, you can able to drink soon, right? How and why? Here, when you pour the hot tea into a saucer, the more surface is exposed to the atmosphere, so the rate of evaporation will be more. So the more heat get transferred from the tea to the atmosphere. Thereby, the tea in a saucer will get cool soon. So it will be easier to drink hot tea by pouring it in a saucer rather than in a cup. In a cup, the surface area will be less and rate of cooling will be less, so we can't drink it fast. So there is another question, why we need to wear cotton cloths in summer? Is it convenient for you to wear cotton cloths in summer? It will be very comfortable and convenient to wear cotton cloths in summer. What happens if you wear cotton cloths? Just look at the diagram here. In general, during the summer time we will get sweat more. So this sweat come on the surface of our skin. If we wear cotton cloth, the cotton have the property of absorbing water. Like that, the sweat is get absorbed by this cotton cloth, and this cotton cloth is exposed to the air. Thereby, this absorbed sweat get evaporated easily into the atmosphere. How it is evaporated? By taking temperature from our body. Once the temperature is get lost, we feel cool. Like that, if you wear cotton clothes in summer, you feel cool, comfortable, and it is skin friendly. That's the reason in general we use cotton cloths to wear in summer. So I hope you understood this topic. With this topic we concluded and ended the lesson. Have a nice day. Assignment will be given for you. Go through the assignment and complete assignment, submit in time. Next week we will meet through Zoom classes and we will continue the lessons there. Thank you and have a nice day.